Okay, so Jethro, as we talked about over the past several days, has come to see Moses and has brought his wife and children to him. He had kind of sent them away during the height of the plagues and things, and I totally understand that. Kind of got them out of the line of fire. Because can you imagine how much the Egyptians and Pharaoh hated Moses in that moment? But he continues talking to Moses about the burden that Moses was taking on in verse 19. He says, "Now listen to me and let me give you a word of advice, and may God be with you. You should continue to be the people's representative before God, bringing their disputes to Him. Teach them God's decrees and give them His instructions. Show them how to conduct their lives." So, this first initial step of delegation, you should be in the role of the main representative for the people before God, right? You are bringing their petitions to God, and God is giving you His word and what He wants from them for you to take back to them. So Moses really kind of functioned as a mediator between God and the people. And we'll see that a little bit later on, once they get to Mount Sinai, they are very happy for this to be happening because they were terrified when they heard from God themselves all at the same time. So that's good. He needed to be in prayer for the people. He needed to be taking the people's petitions to the Lord, and he needed to be that conduit giving the law to them, starting with the Ten Commandments. In not too long a period of time, we're going to reach that point. So he had to lead and delegate. His job was to teach the word, not just hear disputes. Now, if something really big came up, then maybe Moses does need to step in, and we'll even talk about that in a future Bible study. But the people, if they knew God's word and Moses was teaching them well and teaching them His decrees and how they were to do things, that was going to cut down a lot of the disputes because the people would know the answers to these things themselves, right? They wouldn't need Moses because if Moses is teaching them well, they will already have the information. And that's where Moses' heart needed to be. That's where he needed to put the vast majority of his attention, right? So when you look at this and think about it, God is the recognized true leader of the people. And he still couldn't do all of this by himself. He still needed to have help. So God is the leader. Moses is God's representative, right? He's a lot like, say, honestly, like kind of a pastor at a church in that situation, but Moses in a different fashion with a much, I would say, more direct, and even you look at how he and God related to each other, it's a different thing to what we deal with in the New Testament to some extent. But there's some overlap there. So Moses, the leader, he had the special responsibility to teaching the people and to prayer and petition of God. And so he needed to select and train and give authority to others so that he could focus on what he needed to do. Jethro was so wise in telling Moses this. Moses would absolutely wear himself out, the people out, and burn himself out. So good advice from a godly man, and Moses is great for taking it. See you later.